Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Skyshim here, and in today's video I'm going to go over how to win every single MCC game in MCC. Alright, so starting off with Ace Race, what I'd recommend is once you know the map, just to like VOD view it so you know where to go and you don't get like turned around or something. And also make sure to watch people who are like around your own skill level. Cause we watch like the best Ace Race VOD or whatever, you're not gonna be able to do like the skips that they do, and you're probably gonna fall on it, or you're just gonna like, mess it up and do worse. So just make sure to watch people who are around your own skill level for Ace Race. And then Battle Box, what I recommend is, well, really it's map dependent, right? Because there's two battle box maps. Really, it's maps that are more bow spammy, or maps that are more PvP oriented. And maps that are like more bow spammy, what I would recommend is just like sit back, try to like just bow, and then once you kill one person, then you can like move in more to actually like fight them. Because at that point it's a 3v4 and you should be able to win that. And also like don't rush in like early on, because if you go in too early before you get the kill, you're just gonna be a big target and you're probably just gonna die from like a bunch of arrows. Because it only takes like 3 arrows to get killed, which is not that many, so definitely be careful. And then I'm now starting my PvP oriented. I would recommend having 3 people go to one side, and then one flanker go to the other side. But like a little bit of a different route to get there, so that they don't just see them. Because the flanker should be able to get like 2 kills, which is like really good, obviously. That's about it. The 3 people going to the one side should try to like get their attention, or like just try to fight the people who go to their side, because they should be like a 3v2. Because usually what people would do is they have like 2 and 2. On 3v2 they should be able to win, and the flanker should get the other people. And then also one of like the biggest things is to make sure you know how to use your kit, because the kits are like very important. And if you have someone take like the TNT or something like that and they just like don't use it, even though like the TNT doesn't seem that helpful, but it really is, because you can just get people off of you really easily if you just place it. Same thing with like a bunch of other kits like cobwebs. But just make sure you know how to use your kits. And also another strategy that I see a lot of people doing is they have one wool person while the 3 other people like fight or whatever. And the wool person just like would go in, try to like fill in the wool. Yeah, do not do that strategy, please. That is a terrible strategy, because basically it just makes it, first of all, it's an easy target to get like bowed, and you'll probably die for that. And also, it's a 3v4. Like, even if you're like filling in like the wool or whatever, it's a 3v4, and well, you're gonna get targeted, right? So they're gonna see you go to mid. You're gonna get a bow spam because it only takes 3 shots, so your teammates won't even be able to like kill them while they're focusing you. Because the whole team doesn't even need to focus you. It's just like one person watching the middle, and this bow spam you to death, and now it's a 3v4, and you lose 3v4s. So do not do the rush wool strategy. Or one person rush wall. But if you aren't that great at PvP, I would recommend doing the rush wall strategy, where you just rush all 4 people rush the wall to fill in. However, what I think it was Aqua did in MCC 21. Wait, was it MCC 21? I think it was MCC 22. Yeah, one of those MCCs. I think it was MCC 21. Wait, what? It was MCC 22. Okay. Okay, in MCC 22, what Aqua did is they had 3 people rush the wall, and one person, I think it was Green, rushed past the wall and like distracted them, like tried to like just push them back, like spam their sword or whatever, be like really annoying. So that just makes it a bunch easier to be able to foot in the wall, and that like worked like very well for them. I think they got like 5th. So that's what I'd recommend for the like a different strategy for the wall strategy to make it more efficient. And then the next game is big sales at Build Mart. Alright, so for Build Mart, you'll be doing 2 and only 2 strategies. So the first one is the floater strategy. We have 1 floater, and then 3 people pick their individual boats. And for the floater, what I recommend, because the floater usually gets like wood right at the start, and I would recommend getting 16 of each log, and then 32 spruce logs. The reason for this is there's like a bunch more spruce in the builds, and you can go back a lot faster if you only get 16 of the others, because I don't think the other woods are like that common. I feel like you're not gonna need more than 16. Even if you do, it's gonna be only like a little bit. Whereas if you only get 16 spruce logs, you're 100% gonna go back. But the other woods you probably won't if you only get 16. So you're just a little bit more efficient of collecting wood if you do that. And the other strategy is the 5-up strategy, where you have we finished the first 3 builds, right? With 2 people working on builds individually, and then 2 people working together on the last build. And then once you finish all 3 builds, you should get some gold builds. And now you have 2 people working on that gold build, and then 2 people work on a different build. So you go 2 and 2 split. So you're just like doing builds like really fast. And it works pretty well, I would say, because you usually get like first or like second on the builds, and it's a lot more efficient than what Dream did if all 4 people working on one build. So doing 2 and 2 is very good. And now what I would recommend, because choosing which one to do can be a little bit hard, because most people, what they do is the 5-up strategy seems really hard, so they just do the floater strategy. However, I would recommend doing the 5-up strategy if you're a weaker team, and the floater strategy if you're a stronger team. And the reason is just having 3 people work on the builds individually can be like a lot of pressure, and they could easily mess up and then be like pretty much like last on their build. Whereas if you're doing a 5-up strategy, after you do the first 3 builds, now you're working together with someone, which makes it 100 times easier, and it's still very efficient. Which is why if you're a weaker team, I'd recommend doing the 5-up strategy, and a stronger team doing the floater strategy, because I think the floater strategy is a better strategy than the 5-up strategy if you are efficient. Because if you're efficient, then you don't need 2 people working on one build. Like, you could do that with just 1 person. But they're both very effective. Now, next game is Grid Runners. And what I recommend for Grid Runners, oh god. Let's see. I guess just be like very observant. Like make sure you know, like try to know the most common tips for like certain games that are like pretty common. Like for example, the killing the mobs. There's always a downstairs with like silverfish. So be like observant to like know, okay, this is that one. Let's go down. I'm gonna go downstairs so you don't get stuck in this. That's like a big one. Another thing is for the minecart one, you could know, alright, we only need 6 iron. Alright, we don't need more than 6 iron. You only need 6 iron and 1 stick. So just do that and get the furnaces and get enough flax to actually build it. And you can be very efficient at those ones. So just try to know the ones that are most common, so that you like know what to do for them. Obviously try not to fall at the end, because if it's close, then you know you don't want to be the one that makes your team get a lower team completion bonus. But don't like stress out if there's no one by you, because I know some people think that one like counts for like the per room thing. To try to like rush, but that one does not count for per room. It's just it's just, you know, team completion, so you don't get points for finishing that one very fast. But if you're good runners, you know, try to keep your comms clean. Don't like say too many things or it's confusing. Yeah. The next one is hole in the wall. So I think now we're not really gonna get the one like the original hole in the wall, but if it is the original one, just know that obviously, so the wall can't come from where the wall just came from. So if the wall comes from north, it will not come from south. Therefore, you should be on the south side so you can see all three of the walls pretty easily. But for the new one, you can't really do that since you have the yellow platforms, and being in the sides are actually like worse because now you can't really like run around easier unless you like jump to the yellow and then jump to the next thing. But I'd recommend staying in the middle of it so you can easily traverse around. And then also the yellow does not decay, so just be aware that later game walls that you could make easily the first time you will not be able to make the second time, simply because, well, it went away, right? So you have to use the yellow. The yellow is very important when the sides start to shrink. So keep that in mind. Next game we have is Meltdown. So for this one, the tip I'm gonna give is rush the gold. Rush like the big pile of gold. Because even if you just get that and then you die all 3 rounds, that's still gonna be very good. Because there's like so much gold that you can get from just mining that. Another thing is don't have a designated miner. What you should do is just when you see gold, just claim it. Claim the pickaxe. When you're going into a fight with another team, make sure everyone places their heater. Because if you get like frozen, you could just, you know, get rezzed. And also, if all 4 heaters are down, you get like picked up very fast compared to if there's only 1 heater down. So that's really important. Obviously, once you break your heater, it's on a cooldown, so be aware of that. That's about it from Meltdown. Parkour Tag. I definitely recommend doing the rotation strategy, where you're just always running around. If someone's running towards you with the hunter chasing them, then you run the opposite direction, so that you are always far away from the hunter. Even if they do tag that person, you're still like very split. Also, for who's gonna be like the hunter strategy, there's like a couple that I saw. One is just obviously the best player hunts the best team. This strategy I would say is not that great. I mean, it can be if you're just very confident and you know for a fact you're gonna be able to beat the other hunter. But you know, and this strategy is like a 50-50 if you're gonna win pretty much, which is the reason why it's not that good. And there's a strategy that you do 4 consecutive hunts in a row, so you have the momentum strategy, whatever, going with you. Would also not really recommend this one because you might have a little bit of momentum, but I don't think it's really worth it. The strategy that I would recommend is the strategy that Sapnap uses, which is the best hunter hunts the weakest teams. And the reason why this is so powerful is because you get guaranteed wins compared to hunting the best teams, where you wouldn't always win. And you want the best tagger to get all their tags. And by hunting the weakest teams, then you do good. And to make this even better, you don't have to hunt the weakest team. Just hunt the weakest team that you know you're going to be able to get. So hunt the 4 weakest teams that you know for a fact that you're going to be able to get. So therefore, if there are like teams that are even weaker than that, then the second best hunter can hunt them and get that win. You basically just get guaranteed wins, and then the second hunter can also maybe pop off against the better teams. And the reason for this is because when you have the best hunter only hunting the worst teams, that is going to be a very good runner as well, running against the best teams, which means that you just run away and buy as much time as possible for the second best hunter to, tag them, which is very important. Alright, now moving on to Rocket Spleef Rush. The best tip I can give is always be in the air by either like rocket jumping, light hopping, whatever. Do not stay on the ground floor, because it makes you an easy target to get shot off, and you don't have much reaction time to cover your light shot, and you're probably gonna fall. Right? Also, what I noticed is that the the saving grace or whatever, like the little hop item, whatever it is, it's not that strong. You don't go up that far, so I wouldn't really depend on it. If you're too low, make sure you use it pretty fast, but also try to make sure there's no box above you, which is pretty hard, but if you can do that, that'd be really good. Also, for rocket jumping, I am pretty sure it's a lot better if you shoot the rocket when you're closer to the ground rather than when you're at the peak of your jump. And the reason is, when you're at the peak of your jump, you're further away from where you're shooting the rocket, compared to when you're close to the ground, you're very close to where you're shooting the rocket, which means you can get boosted up even further. That's really it for Rocket Spleef Rush. If you could try to, I wouldn't really recommend focusing people, but if you do, I'll just try to shoot a rocket at them while you're light shooting. I wouldn't really recommend trying to shovel them or whatever, knock them off with your fist, because you're gonna fall if you focus that too much. So I would not really focus that. Now, Sands of Time. Alright, so Dream's strategy, the Vault Hunter, or Vault Runner, whatever you want to call it. Basically, the strategy is that the worst runner is going to be going to underspawn to get the blue key, and then rushing the blue vault tunnel. So they'll find the vault, right? And they know for a fact what they're doing, so they're never confused. And plus, when you find the vault, you get a bunch of sand. So you get even more sand by doing the strategy as well. And the second best runner, he's gonna get the red key by doing the word puzzle, and then going to find the red vault tunnel. And then you basically get 2 guaranteed vaults, which is insane. That's when you use so many times. And plus, you have the best one, the best runner or whatever, is still gonna get a bunch of coins. From going around the tunnels, and he could probably find the green key as well, because he's going to go down a bunch of tunnels, and you already have 2 people going down 2 tunnels. So it's pretty common to either find the green key or the gold tunnel. And if you find a gold tunnel, it's also really good, just because there's a bunch of sand in that room again, so you can get more sand. And you have the Sandkeeper, obviously, just collecting sand. For the Sandkeeper, I'd recommend definitely trying to find the Emerald Vault, so that you can get the 6 sand or whatever that's there. Make sure to check the upper layers as well, because a bunch of new Sandkeepers just forget about the upper layers and just completely mess up. What else? Also, try to peek your head into each tunnel, just to see if there's 1 or 2 sand, or at least the little. Usually, I would say that you're not gonna find sand when you peek your head in the tunnels, but what you might find is the little thing that you could shoot with your bow that either drops sand, coins, or monster. That's something that's very easy to find, right? Because there's gonna be a bunch of those. So you can just shoot that. Also, for who's gonna go back and give the sand first, it should never be the vault runners, alright? Because if they go back, then they're basically wasting time because they have to go back into the tunnel, and they're gonna get the sand from the vault, and they're gonna have to come back anyways with the sand. Or rather, as a person who's not going for a vault, if he comes back, it's fine, right? Because he's not really wasting like too much time. So you definitely don't want the vault runners to come back with the sand. But I think that's about it for Sands of Time. Alright, Sky Battle. What I recommend doing for this one is the Iron Man strategy, where you stack up like the best players. But I'm gonna recommend doing this like even more. So basically, not just you want to stack up like the best PvPer, but you also want to stack up the second best PvPer. And if you have a third really good PvPer, stack both of them up like equally. Basically, don't give armor to the weaker PvPers, is what I'm saying. Because what's the point of giving armor to them if they're not going to get like any kills? You want to give the most armor to the people who are the best at PvP on your team, because that's what gives the most points. So that's what I'd recommend. Try not to miss any iron blocks. Obviously, no, it's kind of Make your bridge to middle very wide. Like, I'd probably focus on doing a wider bridge than like some walls. But walls are very good too. I'd try to do like maybe like 4 blocks wide and some walls. On top of that, the bows are very powerful. Especially if you target people who are either like close to an edge where you can knock them off, or if you target people who are by the border, shoot them so when they die from the border you get the kill credit. And then next game, survival games. Alright, so what I recommend for the start, like where do you go from the start? I would recommend having 1 person go to the center and 3 people run away. And the reason for this is that you don't want to have all 4 people go to the center, because you're only going to get like 4 chests. You don't want to have all 4 people run away from the center, because then you might not get enough loot to, like, quickly. But if you have 1 person go to the middle and 3 people go back, you're going to get, the person who goes to the middle is probably going to get like pretty geared up, because you can probably get 3 chests if you go by yourself. While your teammates can also get stuff for going away. So by the time you meet up, you're gonna have like all a good bit of armor compared to if you all run away. You know, it's gonna be a bit less. And yeah, just at the end of the game, try not to fight too much. Or try not to fight too much at the beginning of the game, because once you get to the end of the game, you know, you could get a bunch more kills. Make sure to always have at least 3 homing pots in your hotbar at all times, or at least 3 crossbows in your hotbar at all time. Because if someone rushes you, they're just dead. You just throw the homing pots, or you shoot them with the crossbows. Yeah, so you basically just prevent anyone from rushing you. Let's get to the other side and whack a fan. I mean, don't punch people on this, because if you punch people on this game, they're either gonna target you next round, or if you're in a big crowd and you're punching people, then the crowd's gonna start punching randomly as well, and you might get punched off. Also, it's a lot more important. I mean, don't get me wrong, the team bonuses are very important, but if you can get like 2 people in the top like 5 players to finish, that is very strong. It's like way more points than getting like 2nd or 3rd team, or like 4th team to finish. So I focus on like individual placements on this one like highly, unless it's a map like the walls map, where you could just like bridge over everything and get like, you know, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, like Aqua and MCC Pride 22. That's about it. I mean, if you're not that great at bridging, I would 100% recommend following someone who is good at bridging. But like, if you have like 2 people on your team that aren't good at bridging, don't have them follow the same person, because if that person gets knocked off, then they're pretty much screwed. Follow different people. But yeah, so that's my tips for beating MCC minigames. If there's anything that I missed out, definitely comment that in the comment section. Maybe leave a like while you're at it as well. You could subscribe as well. But thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.